It's like MTV Cribs.
Okay. What is that? A turtle shell?
What? Yeah. This is what we do in the kitchen.
Girl, you about to scratch up these floors.
Oh, it's okay.
That does look pretty fun.
Hold on, give it a better chance. Give it a better. You went a little hazy there.
My butt used to fit in here better. Let me remind you.
Okay.
My 3-year-olds.
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah.
Pressure now.
Woo!
Somebody has gone completely off the rails.
Round and round we go.
Wow.
Round and round we go. Round and round we go.
Round and round we go. That's right, baby.
It's a remix from Uncle Luke.
It gets to be a problem when they really want to keep trying to see if they can beat mommy, and mommy's like, Mom, I'm going to throw up. We got to stop.
I love that we've just
having
been
a
this
little
whole
fun.
week. Yeah, this whole week's been Amy trying her toys out, her kids' toys out. I think that's good. That's good parenting, just to make sure that they're safe.
This is why you have kids, to play with their toys.
Yeah. I love it. Having a little fun on this Friday. That's what we plan to do for the next hour with you. I'm Felicia Lawrence, John Hanson, and Miss Amy Rutledge.
You know, Friday night means it's coffee night. And not only is it single coffee night, it's double coffee night.
Ooh,
Got to get through this hour, baby. You know, I like to drink coffee on a Friday night. It gets me going, so I'm excited.
I'm so
As long
excited
as
to go
both
to
cups
bed.
are coffee.
Yes. All right, let's get it going.
Yeah, okay. So we got the name announced for Space Force members today, and they will be called, that was a drum roll,
Dun, dun, dun.
Guardians.
Oh my God.
They will be called Guardians. Look at the logo that they chose.
Oh my God.
Note
This
that.
is just...
So people have been comparing that to the name of the Marvel comic franchise, Guardians of the Galaxy. And the name comes as we near the first anniversary of December 20th of the new military branch that President Trump started. So, I mean, this is what you get. We got a president who is a celebrity president. He's a reality TV star. This whole presidency has been quite entertaining, to say the least. And this does not disappoint. It doesn't fall short of this.
Except that Star Trek, which is exactly what the logo looks like, is not reality TV. Cracks me up. I was like, when it came out, I'm like, this can't be real. They're kidding, right? This is funny.
Yeah.
This is funny.
I wonder if they're going to get sued by Disney for Guardians of the Galaxy. And
or the logo.
I guess Stormtroopers and Jedis was already taken. So, yes, Guardians. Right. I don't know. It's log online today and see all the responses. They are great. It is good.
Why do we just call it Space Place? Space Place or
Space
Champs?
Space Force. Space Force.
All right, let's bring it back down to earth, specifically to Chicago. Time for a little Chicago in 60 here. Always hold for the horn. You'll start seeing some shipping containers popping up along the streets next month. They're for a new startup, Bold, offering people who don't want to work out in gyms a new solution. So you can work out with 2 others in a container for an hour. It's actually kind of cool. So they'll take 15 minutes between each session to kind of sanitize them, and they're going to open up at Fulton Market next month. But I like the idea. You know, at gyms, they can't be too crowded.
Right.
Containers are nice. I don't know how much heat they keep in, but yeah, okay.
You don't really need a lot of
airflow
heat
there, though. I need the airflow. That has to be.
But if you're going with Teddy, you don't need to worry about airflow because you guys are in the same house anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
All right. Cook County will recognize Juneteenth as a paid holiday for county workers. It marks the day in 1865 that Union soldiers told enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, that the Civil War had ended and that they were free. It's the first county in Illinois to officially recognize the holiday. It's nice that it's a paid holiday. I know that Governor Pritzker eventually wants to make it a state holiday too.
Yeah, it's expensive. I think that's the stopping block.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
for sure.
we can make it happen.
Yeah. Hey, this is cool. A small business is on the south side. They're kind of teaming up for this virtual holiday market this weekend, selling everything from clothes, bags, and jewelry to artisan popcorn, cakes, juice cleansers, all this sort of stuff. You can go to buildbronzeville.com. Kind of a one-stop shop, buy a couple gifts out there, support some local folks that, they've lost all their fairs, they've lost all their things this year.
Yeah.
So what a great opportunity to kind of buy a couple of them, add them to the cart, and get out of town with some cool gifts.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it when people
Yeah,
buy local.
I live in the Bronzeville area, and I think about all the festivals we miss, from African Fest to the Hyde Park Brew Fest. I mean, oh my goodness. So those would be the places where these vendors would have certainly shopped, certainly sold their stuff.
Well, here's something good for you this Friday night. A Manny's Deli superfan is treating 4,000 customers, strangers no less, to corned beef sandwiches for the holidays. So Tom Sondog has loved the iconic Jewish deli since the 60s. So he gave Manny's enough cash to hand out 1,000 kits that each make 4 sandwiches. The event is open to the public Monday at noon at St. Sabina Catholic Church on the south side. So pretty cool for him to be doing that.
This is so cool.
That's a lot.
So cool. It's a lot when a lot of people are hungry, and there is a sense of pride that you want people to have, even though they're in need. You don't want everyone to have to eat canned food and turkey sandwiches. So this takes it to a whole new level, and it doesn't get any more Chicago than this.
Right. So
no, you're right. It is obviously an institution there in the West Loop, Southwest side or Southwest Loop area, and they've struggled like every other small business. They were like posting.
Yep.
I remember a couple months ago, like, we need
They
some
were gonna
help. And
close.
people came out in droves for it.
Yep.
So it's so nice that someone's able to not only help Manny's out, but obviously help so many people. Hey, before we go on to the next story, I want to ask: did you guys have a good first date experience with Todd and Teddy? No, bad one, Amy.
With Todd, yes. With Todd, yes. Not my first date, but Todd was great.
That was good. Okay. Val, not good.
So it was at the club. And my feet were hurting, and I took my shoes off in the club. The one time that I do, because a real lady never does that. You just go home if your feet hurt. And we went back the next day to get my shoes, and the shoes were lost. They were gone. Someone else took them. So our first date, we went shopping at a shoe store after I lost some shoes that I liked.
Oh,
I made him pay for it.
That's a really great first date story, but not every first date story is all that good. Brandon Pope got to talk to one comedian who's bringing some levity to the dating world.
Thank you so much for your patience. It's just the traffic.
I swear to God, they did not cheat. They didn't. Tom Brady would never cheat. I know it. I know it. I know it in my soul.
Sorry it took so long to schedule this date. It's just my calendar has been booked and work has just been driving me insane, but you get it. A Bears fan? Yeah, if they win, I'll take a shot at Malort.
Well, dating can be a little different depending on where you live, but one content creator seems to have it all figured out with her viral impressions. Comedian and TikToker Shannon Fiedler joins me now. And Shannon, this idea you had where you were basically showing what dating is like in different cities. Is this come from personal experience? Have you been all over the country doing first dates?
Yeah, you know what? Surprisingly, I haven't, but I have been to different places in the country and lived there and just found people to be so fascinating everywhere you go. I grew up in Connecticut, so it sort of was born out of that. That character came to me fully formed. I know her very well. And I thought, what if I put her in a position that we've all been on, that we all hate to be on, and made her absolute worst version of herself? And that's how it was born.
I loved it. Where'd your Chicago impression come from? Because it was pretty accurate.
We have to get this out of the way. Lou's or Gio's?
Thank you. So Chicago was actually the one that I had to do the most research for. One of my best friends and one of her best friends lived in Chicago for years. So I consulted them. My boyfriend also lived in Chicago for a bit. So I had a lot of people coming together to help me out and figure out what it means to be a Chicago girl. I knew she was going to be really nice.
Hi, how are you?
That was the one thing that was going to be very different than Manhattan girl or LA girl. She was going to be just super kind.
Do you find it harder or easier to come up with content during this time?
It depends on the day. But I think there is something. I think at the beginning of the pandemic, I felt I can't create anything. I'm a stand-up comedian prior to TikTok. And when the clubs closed, I thought, all right, well, I'll just work on writing for a bit, and found that I wasn't feeling very funny. And then the more time passed and the more time I had alone with myself in my apartment or at my parents' house, because I spent a long time at my parents' house during quarantine, I started to feel the itch to be creating and found TikTok like the rest of us during the pandemic and became absolutely addicted to it. So I'm trying to make sure my content isn't all about being stuck inside. I'm trying to draw from a life we all remember, the days of yore, which I think is, I hope, a good escape for people from what we've been having to go through.
You can follow Shannon on social media and her website listed there on your screens. And be sure to check out her TikTok for all those viral date impressions.
Okay. Well, when you think about your first meeting with your new partner's family, you'd never think a global pandemic will take place and that you'd be forced to quarantine with their family. Well, that actually happened to one man who just happened to be Malia Obama's boyfriend. My goodness. Okay. So former President Obama, he told this whole story on the Bill Simmons podcast. And this guy is actually classmates with Malia Obama. He's from the UK, but couldn't go home because he had a job lined up in the States and stuff started happening with the visas. So he had to stay for a short time, for a little while, with the Obamas. How crazy is that?
If I were dating a president's kid, I would, there was a quarantine on the horizon, I would show up every day, try and stay in the house until the order came so that I could purposely get quarantined there. Good, smart kid.
No. Oh my God, the dad meeting. I don't care if you're a guy or girl. The dad-mom meeting is the worst ever. You want that to be done over quickly the first time. Second time, you can let it linger. So I imagine this first time was a pretty rough one.
And it's awkward. Think about everything that you do in the bathroom. If you're having stomach problems, you really want your own space when you're going to meet someone else's family.
Goes back to her stomach and her bowel movements every time.
Also, though, I will say it does matter because we're Americans. Him as someone from the UK, I just wonder if it matters as much. Because imagine me going to quarantine with the queen. Yes, exciting, but she's not my queen. She's a queen. My queen is Beyonce. So I wouldn't be as excited for the Queen of England. Yeah, I mean, it's different. Right. It's for different countries. That's all. That's all.
Save us, Krista. Save us.
Save us.
Oh. Save it. She is. Oh, we don't got her microphone, unfortunately. She didn't save us, Krista. We can't hear her. That's okay. We'll go back after this. She tried to save us. We'll be back. We'll figure it out.
We'll be right back.
We promise.
Save us!
We're in the right spot now.
Mic check. Can you hear me? Okay.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Some news you need to know this evening. A second teenager charged with the murder and the shooting death of retired Chicago Fire Department Lieutenant Dwayne Williams. 18-year-old Dwayne Johnson appeared in bond court this afternoon. Williams was, of course, killed in a carjacking 2 weeks ago in Morgan Park. The Supreme Court tossed out a challenge to President Trump's attempt to exclude undocumented immigrants from the census. It's a narrow win for the president. The court simply saying that until the decisions are made, the challengers have no case. And stimulus talks will continue into the weekend. The GOP seems split on how big of a check to give some Americans. John.
I got it, Amy.
So
the head of the FOP versus the city of Chicago. The saga between the two continues. John Catanzara could be fired from the Chicago Police Department over offensive posts he made on social media. The full police board is expected to make a decision in the coming weeks on that. But today, he suggested that he'd resign on one condition. He said, give our officers the retro pay they deserve. So I was looking it up. It was unclear as to what specific pay from when he's talking about, but I'm imagining all the overtime that we've had from this entire year, entire pandemic.
Right.
I think maybe that's what he could be referring to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Amy.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, some of the messages that he had posted were really quite offensive. One of them referenced people on the police board, messages on Facebook saying, WTF, it's seriously time to kill these blanks. Not mentioning exactly what he's talking about. When he talked about Muslims in 2017, the post said, savages, they all deserve a bullet. I don't think anything's really shocking to people that have met or have heard some of his more public statements, but they certainly are bad. But 55% of police, the rank and file, voted for this guy. And I hate to put it like this, but he is their guy right now. He is the union president. And he is pushing for the things that a lot of cops want in the rank and file. And it's not up to the mayor. It's not up to the police superintendent to fire this guy. And imagine he's representing the police force. So I'm not saying it's a good look. I'm saying that is his goal in this negotiation process or in this, avocation process.
I will say, though, 55% is not a lot. There is still a large majority of people in there that want him gone, too. So whether or not he puts this stand up to say, I'm staying for these guys, doesn't necessarily mean they want him to stay there because he's also making them all look bad. All these comments reflect poorly on the Chicago Police Department, which is already fighting a negative, opinion.
Yeah.
So they don't need more piled on the fire. He should just bow out gracefully and let the police department and the rank and file find a new person that they are a little bit more comfortable with publicly, representing them.
Yeah, I mean, there still has to be some sense of professionalism for the position that he's in, and that professionalism certainly has to be represented. You would like to see from the top down. Now, one thing he said that I wasn't sure about, but he said that this, him obviously losing his job as Chicago police officer would not mean that he would have to step down from the FOP. So I thought that was interesting. He was saying that the two are independent of each other.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead, Amy.
So he was been under investigation since they appointed him president. He was already off of his desk duty, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the union process and how they replace their FOP. I imagine it'd be some kind of vote. I mean, he came on this program and talked about that mask usage wasn't important, and this is during a year when COVID has killed more police officers than any other cause at all. So, having said that, I don't know how much people trust everything he says, anyways. But I don't know. He's been a controversy since the moment he took over. He's a big Trumper. Trump's going out of office. I don't know if things are going to change or the tide has turned enough, but we'll have to wait and see.
For sure.
Yeah. We shall see.
And we'll be back.
All right, we're going to we'll be right back.
3 tosses to break. 3 tosses. We got it. We're going to break.
else. I just put it in there in case I go away.
My back hurts really bad right now.
All right, a little bit warmer tomorrow. Calm, no snow expected, but a pretty typical day. Okay, the holidays can be a real rough time for divorced dads, and that's what Jeffrey Loving is a pro at, is trying to help these dads out, fighting the good fight. He's here joining us now. And Jeffrey, let's just jump right in. What struggles have fathers that you've represented recently faced or are facing here in the next couple of weeks?
Parental alienation and false coronavirus claims. A lot of dads want to be with their children during the holidays. And this is a very difficult time, and a lot of them are being pushed out. And we've reunited many dads with their children, and we're never going to give up. We reunited one dad, a great husband, great dad, came home from work, and he wasn't allowed in his house, and he was threatened with an order of protection, with jail time. Well, we represented him. We went to court. We won. He's back with his children. It's a very tough time for a lot of dads, but they shouldn't give up hope, and they should fight for their children, for what's right, and fight for what makes sense, and that's the future and safety and welfare of their children.
Well, a lot of dads obviously want to be with their kids in the holidays, but when you talk about the kids' health too, I mean, you're forming memories around this time that last a lifetime, and I imagine, dads want to be a part of it, but their kids want to be a part with their dad too.
Exactly. This is very, very important. Fortunately, in my law firm, we have a great lawyer who also is an experienced mental health professional who really understands what these children are going through. And we also make referrals when necessary to mental health professionals and ministers and others outside of the firm when it's necessary for marriage counseling or other issues focused on the best interest of the family and children. If we could save a marriage, save a relationship, I want to do it. But if we can't, I have to make sure my clients and their children are safe and out of harm's way.
Yeah. I recently heard about a case that you worked on, and this is just horrible for all sorts of parties. The fact that the child's mother passed away, but the mother's family was actually trying to keep the father away. What a delicate, difficult case and situation to navigate through.
Yeah, that was a very terrible, terrible case. The mother passed away. The child was grieving, and the mother's family wanted to keep the child and didn't want the child with dad. Terrible. We won. The child is with dad. The child should be with dad, as I see it. And the dad's happy, and the child is now with the surviving parent to work through the grieving process. This case is a terrible case, but the result was a good result.
In fact, you talk about things you've done, not to pat yourself on the back, but the governor sent you a letter recently about a symposium you had. How did that go?
Fantastic. I appreciate the governor's support. I put on the Fatherhood Symposium for the governor. It's a state council that I chair for the governor. And I was honored that my friend Rhymefest helped me with the event and lectured there. He's a rapper, well-known rapper,
oh yeah,
songwriter, and he wrote Jesus Walks for Kanye West, which is a great song. I love it. I watched the video, and I thanked him for presenting. He gave a great presentation at the event, and so did my friend, Representative LaShawn Ford, and also great litigator, a fantastic lawyer, James Hagler, great lawyer. He also presented there, no charge, to help out. Great event, great event.
Rhymefest is a friend of the Jam. Did he freestyle Leffing? Like, did he use your last name in a rap at all? Or is that maybe for the next symposium?
Well, that's a good idea. I should have asked him. Thank you.
Yeah. That's free of charge. That's just for you, Jeffrey. All right. To get in contact with Jeffrey Loving and all the great work he does, head to dadsrights.com. Oh my
May
God.
not have the rights for this. Go.
Sure.
Oh, Amy.
the
I
silence.
wanted
It
to
was
give
the jazz hands at the end that did it for me.
I couldn't hear my masterpiece.
Do you like it
when your kids play those?
Do you like it?
My
Are they
kids
good
play
at it?
No, they're so loud and obnoxious. There's a microphone that was on there. We lost it.
That had to be a gift.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Yeah,
I think the
that's
worst
bad.
gift. I once got my niece and nephew a megaphone. Was that a bad Christmas gift?
No, not from an uncle. That's the best thing ever because I do the same
they were
thing to my
so
nieces.
They were so mad. We'll be right back. Y'all. Welcome to this program. This program is called The Jam. It is Friday night. We are living the dream. Yeah, coming up on a holiday week next week.
Is that what we're doing here?
Spirit is in the air. Spirit of fun and joy is in the air. Exactly. John Hanson, Felicia Lawrence, Amy Rutledge. Let's get it started. Let's get the show on the road.
Like right now?
Go.
Felicia.
Okay, go. Well, he spent most of his NFL career on the East Coast, but Donovan McNabb is a Chicago kid at heart. The future Hall of Famer shared with Brandon Pope why it's important to give back no matter where you are in life.
I'm here with NFL legend and Chicago native Donovan McNabb. Good to be here with you, man. You're doing this great effort with Salvation Army with Toys for Kids over in Inglewood. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know what? It's also important for all of us who are representing the Chicago area, no matter if you're an athlete or you're a 9-to-5 worker. You always want to give back and totally show your appreciation for what it has done for you. And for those who are less fortunate and not able to kind of bring in the holidays as most of us would, you want to make sure that you try to lend a helping hand to uplift the spirits of them and their families, also friends of their families. Who be less fortunate, and for me, this is something that's very important and something I've been a part of over the years throughout my playing career, as well as my retirement career. My next phase, so to speak, of just making sure that you provide support for, if it's one family or maybe for a handful, doing whatever it takes in order to provide a spark for them, because then maybe that will be passed on through others.
You also have this night ministry on the north side. Why is it important for you to be a part of that?
The importance, I think, when you talk about the night ministry of what I'm looking forward to is, one, donating the meals for the youth homeless. And we talk about the future of where we are today, providing something to them, maybe if it's nutrients, if it's just words of wisdom, if it's sitting down and spending a little bit of time, whatever we can do to maybe propel the future for these young men and women, who are going through these trying times. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to provide a little bit of spark when it comes to just the food, the nutrients, providing a little bit of support as well, because, we are in a tough situation. And I think if there's anything that you can provide, if it's one particular thing, I ask that you go out and do that.
Information there on your screen to follow Donovan McNabb and get involved with this effort with the Salvation Army. All the information right there on your screen.
Man, I loved him except all those times that he beat the Bears. Okay, time for Ham Bones History Nugget. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just didn't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah, no, I really
did.
appreciate that. It's
Enjoy
giving me
that.
the energy. Well, then forget you, Amy. Okay, so we're all still fingers crossed for a white Christmas, right? And we really haven't had much snowfall all this year. But I'll take you back to the year
Thank goodness.
1967 for this history nugget. The great snowfall that paralyzed Chicago. And really, we didn't know what to do with all the snow. Weeks and weeks, this stuff paralyzed the city. They were dumping snow in the river. They were just whatever. We have no idea what to do with it. So kind of someone came up with the idea. They came up with the idea of hey, we got these things called trains, and we could put the snow on trains and ship it south, and then not deliver it anywhere, but the snow will just melt all over Missouri or Kentucky or something. Just bye-bye snow. Well, a 13-year-old in Florida heard about this, and she's like, well, don't just waste this snow. Bring it down here. We don't ever get snow. So the railroad company agreed. They brought the snow down in refrigerated containers. And there's this article about it, about how it arrived in Chicago by train for this 13-year-old. And her name was Terry Hodson. And she's been interviewed about this years later. And she said it actually wasn't all that fun, because the snow just it froze in the refrigeration trunk.
It's a solid rock.
Yes. So they were digging it out, and then it just melted. And it was all snow in Chicago. After the streets, it was muddy.
Gray, yes.
Just think of how much money went into shipping the snow there.
I usually take a little nap during your history nuggets, but this one is really interesting. I actually did not know that. As a lifelong Chicagoan who was not born in near or around 1967, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah. They were putting it in a lake. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
You think about the snow when it starts to melt and you make those snowballs to throw at people, but then they're actually ice rocks. You can really do some damage. That's something this poor girl did her friends and family.
Right. Well, if you turn the page on that newspaper, it was actually a story about 14 kids injured in a snowball fight. So no, that's a joke, Felicia. That was me being sarcastic about it. Oh, okay.
I'm always on edge. I got to be careful when, you start talking about things like that. Okay, I'll leave it there. Well, we only have a few more weeks of holiday light season, so you better show them off. Snap a photo of your lights, share it with us on CW26Chicago.com. We are partnering with Comet's Energy Efficiency Program to bring you holiday lights. So take a picture, send it to us, because we want to show it on air and on social media. Again, head to CW26Chicago.com.
Our boss loves them, so please send more pictures. Go ahead, Amy. Sorry.
Yes, more pictures. That's okay. All right, she's a former Miss America winner, now known as a female trailblazer in the gaming world. Avori Henderson joins me to talk more about how her projects are helping break that stereotype.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you don't, I have a 10-year-old and he's so into all the gaming, and you don't hear about a lot of the girlfriends of his playing. It's just never seemed like it caught on that much.
Yeah, no, when I first started, I was actually shocked at how few females are in the gaming space. And on top of that, just how many male streamers there are versus female. So there's not really a lot of awareness for female gamers, especially when I started almost 3.5 years ago. Felt like I was kind of one of the first ones to really catch the trend of gaming and streaming. So
why is that? Because it doesn't seem like it's necessarily needs to be a male dominant thing.
No, it doesn't at all. And if you actually look at the statistics, which I have, the percentage of male gamers to female gamers just online on games at any time is pretty 50-50. The difference is just the awareness for female gamers is really, really low. And there's stereotypes around female gamers that just make it almost impossible for people to mentally go through the trauma of trying to be in the industry. I mean, one of the first things that was said to me when I started streaming was, "It's a man's world, you'll never make it."
Really?
And I just was like, "Oh, really? Let me show you."
Wow.
So I really used that to propel, my mindset going forward. That was seriously like weeks in. And I was like, you know what? No, it's not a man's world. Let me show you why.
Yes.
So, my mindset going forward, that was seriously like weeks in.
So how did you really get into it? Did you just play games for a while and then realized one day it was something you could really get into?
Yeah, so I kind of was uploading my content on the side while I was modeling and competing for Miss America. I actually dropped out of the Miss America pageant to pursue my career in gaming once things started to take off, because I knew that it's a grind. Every day that you're not live, your fans or potential fans are watching someone else.
And you put together the first all-female tournament, correct?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we raised over $10,000 for charity within the course of over 4 tournaments that we ran. We had over 166,000 live views during the entirety of the tournament, which was strange at that point for me because I had just started, and really like my viewership, or I guess like my clout or whatever you want to call it, really wasn't big. So the fact that we had such a huge turnout for it just really opened my eyes to the need for this industry to have more female-oriented events.
Do you find pushback at all from the male population out there playing?
Not in the streamer community. Most male streamers are very open about the fact that they recognize that there's not a lot of females. And so they really try to support. And without that, I think I would lose my mind. But in the gaming community, just in general, people who can hide behind a screen, it's it's terrible. Genuinely, it's awful. So it's something that I fight against every single day. And, I'm happy to do it. I think I have the mental fortitude to push through that because I know kind of my goal in the end. And I would rather take the wrath of those types of people to be a role model for someone else than to, let it continue on and watch and see women get discouraged every single day from doing what they love to do.
Well, Avery, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you can keep up with Avery on Instagram, Twitter, and all the YouTube handles you see there on the screen.
Super cool. Okay, so it has been a heck of a year. But one thing that we can all say for sure is that our vocabulary has definitely expanded. Let me tell you what I mean. We got a list of words and phrases that we probably would have never known before this pandemic. Okay, flattening the curve, Zoom, doom scrolling, quarantine fatigue, COVID, is that COVIDiots?
Yeah.
These are things, I did not know what Zoom was before this. A few people were using it, and now it seems like everybody is using it and knows what it is. But yeah, this is interesting.
I don't think I use the word pivot so many times as I have in the last 6 to 10 months, right? Pivot needs to go bye-bye. I don't want to say it anymore.
For me, I like a lot of medical terms that I think a lot of people didn't know beforehand. Immunocompromised, or who knew what PPE was like 10 months ago? Really, like
nobody,
except for people in the healthcare. Yeah, no one knows what that is. I still had to remember personal protective equipment, but like these little things that like we would have never. We were like, what are you talking about 12 months ago?
Yeah.
Well, because it's PPE and then there's PPP. Remember, so like they came up at the same time. So a lot of people were like, what?
Yeah.
Boy,
Every
we're
once
so
in a while,
much smarter.
I just find myself sitting there and I'm like, What is going on with this world? I feel like the words we're using, quarantine, pandemic, it's something you hear in a zombie apocalypse or you hear in a sci-fi Hollywood movie or something like that. I can't believe it. That's
really
exactly what this is
1900s.
like. Yes. It seems like we're in a movie. This is insane.
Yeah. Krista, what's
Real
up,
life.
girl?
This is a movie, Felicia. It's your own movie. Make it a movie. Okay, guys. Coming up, you can beat the winter blues with a magical night in your very own winter wonderland. I'll tell you in trending. We'll be right back after this.
All right, time for some news you need to know. We're going to start with the COVID roundup. So CVS and Walgreens began offering COVID-19 vaccines for residents and staff at nursing homes and long-term care facilities today. The companies partnered with centers with the CDC in an effort to stem the amount of deaths and illnesses. Nursing home patients account for nearly 40% of COVID deaths. Well, it only took 9 months, but now 96% of Americans are finally wearing masks. That is according to a new poll from the Kaiser Foundation. Among the findings, 23% call it a personal choice. 73% say it's everyone's responsibility to protect others. And New York reversed its indoor restroom ban for outdoor diners. After mass confusion and outrage boiled over from restaurant owners and patrons, the mayor called the rule stupid and said the Cuomo administration did not involve them in the decision-making. Back at home, this weekend will be mostly sunny, a little bit chilly, but really not too bad for this time of year, but bundle up.
Give us that sunlight. We love it. Okay, so through the end of the year, we're going to be playing a little game called Hindsight is 2020.
2020.
Okay, so here's how it works. The first person to say if it did or did not happen in 2020 gets a point. If you say the month and year correctly that it happened, bonus point. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Right,
awarded
first one,
1
let's
point
see it.
yesterday, so.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to crush it. Modern Family ends after 11 seasons.
That did not happen in 2020.
Yeah, that
No,
was
it did.
last
Nope.
year.
No, it did not.
Did
That was
not,
last
did
year.
not,
No,
did not.
no.
I'm going with September. Is that when seasons end? I should know this in television.
Yeah,
September.
the answer is no.
Okay, let's see.
Oh my
April
God.
20th. Oh my God, all right.
None of you said
Oh,
yes.
God.
All right.
We are so
Yeah,
bad.
okay, off to a rough start. Okay.
Okay.
And next up, I didn't watch Modern Family. All right. Megan Thee Stallion releases I'm a Savage.
Oh,
Classy,
okay.
baby.
This year, I would
No
say, when did it come out? It
When
was
did
like
it
a
come
summer
out?
song.
Just pick a
Oh, I
month.
should know this. What do you think?
Come
May,
on,
June,
Felicia.
July? No. Because I
Well, let's
first
just have
heard it.
multiple months.
I was in the line at Chipotle. It was like
I'm going to
April.
say August. I'm going to say August.
I'm gonna say
Oh,
April
come
or
on.
May.
I said
No,
August.
wait,
just
earlier,
to-
guys. TikTok, quarantine. That's when all the dances were hot. It was right out the gate.
April.
March.
Okay,
That's a good guess.
February. Oh,
March.
March. Okay, that one
March.
doesn't count. We were busy in
Well,
March.
Felicia, you did say yes, so you got a point there. You got 1 point there. You
Okay.
didn't get the bonus point. We'll take
Okay.
it.
All right. There you go, Felicia.
All
You got a
right.
point.
And next, Trump tells Greta Thunberg to work on her anger
Oh, Johnny, you should know that.
management.
No, that was last year. That was 2019. That was December.
Really?
It was December or
I'm
January.
going to say it was February.
I'm
I'm
gonna say
gonna say December.
January.
It was this year, but it
I
feels
know
like
I
it was
railed
years
about it in the
ago.
studio.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 points,
Oh,
baby.
2019. Whoa,
It was right in
Johnny
there.
in the lead.
Right
You're-
in there.
You follow that Trump Twitter closely, John. We know. We know.
No, I just rail against Greta Thunberg, so I know anytime she pops up in the news. So
He does hate that girl.
I don't hate her.
She's a teenager.
Annoying
Hater.
to me. I just don't like
Just
successful
grown-
teenagers that are already way more popular
TVO
than I
John
am. So.
Hansen hates
This grown man
Greta.
harping on a teenage girl.
Gen Z's coming after you, dude. Watch out.
Okay. All right, that's it
All
for
right.
this game. I at least took
okay. I
the
was
lead
like,
for
we have
today,
more?
so that's good.
All right.
No, I
right,
win.
John, I
Game
guess you
over. That's
win.
how that works. Bye.
Here's your trophy. Okay, fam, what if I told you you could take a trip to basically the North Pole and you didn't have to leave Chicago? The Santa Suite is back this year, and this year, for the first time ever, they're letting families book it for overnight stays. How cool. So I stopped by to get the lowdown from Swiss Hotel's Brittany Robbins.
When they get up to the Santa Suite, the views and the decor and the room itself, it's 2,000 square feet of space just for the family. It sleeps 6 people. It is completely decked out with toys, games, activities like make your own ornament, cookie decorating station. We have an express mailbox that goes from Swiss Hotel to the North Pole, and kids can write letters to Santa, and Santa will write a letter back.
Oh my gosh, that place is just breathtaking. Christmas exploded. It's gorgeous. And if you guys want to see what I asked Santa for this year, you'll have to go to our Instagram and Facebook pages at the Jam TV Show for the extended video in my Now Try This series. But really, really cool place. So you can check that out at the Jam TV Show on social. And you guys can book the Santa Suite until January 3rd. But go quickly, act fast, because they're filling up. We will be right back after this.
Let's deep dish it up.
There it is.
Oh, deep dish.
Amy's so talented.
You don't know what I do in my free time here. All right, interesting thread on Reddit right now. What is the one item you should never go cheap on? I got to tell you my favorite because I thought this was really funny. Someone says anything that separates you from the ground, be it your shoes, your tires, your bed, etc. Thought it was amazing. Krista, what's yours?
Okay, I would have to say when I have the funds, jewelry, because I love gold, but gold gets so gross. Like, this is a cheap gold necklace, and if I brought it close to you, the chain is just, I shower with it, I wear it all the time. It's disgusting, but I still wear it every day. But my rings, they're like, I invested in them, and you make my fingers green. So all the men out there, if you're looking to get jewelry for your girl,
You can just talk to your boyfriend directly in the other room.
Right,
you don't have to talk to him through the
right there.
television program. Yes. I mean, I like sending the messages through TV. I do that all the time too, but you can just tell him directly.
I'm 1,000% with you on that one. No cheap jewelry, no cheap shoes. Don't go with a cheap attorney. Pay full price for that. Been there, done that.
Felicia.
And I would say anything that has to do with not that. Anything that has to do with pregnancy. So pay full price for pregnancy tests, pay full price for condoms.
Family
planning
rescale.
and discovering. Got it.
Family planning. Felicia, by the way, I love that you talk about jewelry and earrings specifically, because literally before the show, you were putting in those earrings and you're like, don't buy cheap things. Are you wearing cheap earrings tonight?
Well, first of all, you didn't have to call out my cheap earrings. But yes, the answer is I am wearing cheap earrings tonight. I won't tell you where they're from. Some other people might recognize them. But no, I had to bend them into the shape so they would close.
One of my favorite things I missed from the studio, because both Amy and you got hoops on tonight. Felicia, the bigger the hoop.
Oh, the bigger the hoop.
Oh, you can say it.
I can't say that word on TV.
It's ho season. Come on.
You're talking about gardening.
You always say that. Okay, the thing that I would never go cheap on is toilet paper. For many reasons. But one ply, you do that in college, and it's you know what? That's an area to protect and to cherish, savor.
I don't go cheap on that.
Double quilt, triple quilt.
You sound like Felicia.
Yeah.
No, don't go. I don't go cheap on that. Also, and I'll judge you if I come to your house and you got cheap toilet paper.
Yeah,
but also,
exactly.
Generic cereal. I don't do generic cereal. Well, I don't do cereal anymore, but when I did, it was not generic. Nope.
So, okay,
Real
in
thing.
general. Two things. Okay, some septic tanks, especially near the suburbs, and if you're on lake water, on a well, blah, 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 you have to use one ply. I'm just going to tell you it happens. We're luckily not in that situation, but I have very close friends and family who are. They hate it, but they don't have a choice. So can't judge on ply. So there's that. On the cereals, though, I'm going to do a blind taste test. It's like vodka, Felicia. I don't think you'll know the difference.
Oh, like generic brand? Yeah, I agree.
Wait, between like different alcohol and stuff?
No. I think if I put cheap cereal in front of you and the name brand without the box, I don't think you'll know the difference. And I feel that way about vodka too. That was my comparison. Sorry.
I would know, Amy.
No
I have a
way.
very expensive and experienced palate. I would know.
No,
What
if you
if I
got
put
Lucky
expensive
Charms,
organic milk on it?
yeah. If you get Lucky Charms next to like Leprechaun's Delight, President's Choice, you're not going to know the difference. So.
Not gonna know.
You totally taste it with the vodka.
Have a great weekend,
I'm just
everyone.
saying.
Yeah, Amy would know the difference.